Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me and stopping by to hear about how P3 chose satire to talk about climate change. Oh, am I? Okay, it's fine. Yeah. I'm Sofie. I'm the daily editor at P3 Satire, and at P3, it's like the DR department for all the youth content. So it's both radio, podcast, digital content where I am, and TV. And our audiences is 15 to 31-year-old people in Denmark. So those are the ones we need to reach. And I'm here today to talk about a program called Adnan og de grønne løgne, Adnan and the Green Lies, which we did last year. I was the journalist on it and the camera guy and the editor as well. So yeah. But firstly, I think we should see just maybe the 2 first minutes of the first episode, so you can get a sense of the vibe of the show.
Nu står vi her og ligner en flok idioter. Vi skal derover. Det er altså ikke fashion at løbe på den der måde her.
Yes, we can, Masud! Den grønne revolution er her!
Det er greenwashing, som vi kalder.
Lad være med at bruge G-ord.
Så kan de snyde lidt.
Det tror jeg ikke, der er nogen, der er ude på.
Det er snyd. Lige sluk det kamera.
Klimaforandringerne er på alles læber. Men behøver jeg virkelig at give afkald på alt det, jeg elsker, bare fordi det er dårligt for klimaet? Overhovedet ikke. For jeg har fundet nogle virksomheder, som virkelig har regnet den ud. De fortæller os konstant, hvor ekstremt grønne de er. Det giver næsten et indtryk af, at man gør klimaet en tjeneste ved at fortsætte med at køre i deres biler, shoppe deres tøj, flyve i deres fly og spise deres kød. Og det er jo virkelig smart, for så behøver jeg slet ikke at have dårlig klimasamvittighed, så længe jeg lytter til virksomheder, der er så grønne, at man skulle tro, det var løgn.
Put your hands up.
And then it goes. Yes. Companies that are that green that you would believe it's a lie. That's pretty much the premise for this series. It's about greenwashing, and it's the premise is that Adnan, our dear host, is the consumer who believes anything the companies tells him. So he buys the lie. So he's like, okay, they are saying that this green, that's great for me. So that's like the vibe of the show and Adnan's position in the show. A few things we knew before we started. It has to be satire. That was like, it had to be that. Adnan had to be the host. He's a known profile at P3. He's really popular and people know him from being really brave and not afraid to be cringe, and also doing a lot of funny stuff. So he was a great choice. And well, other than that, our world was the world was our oyster, nearly, because of course we needed to do this program. And pretty early on, we knew we wanted to do something with the climate and the climate change, because it's a subject that we know our young audience is really engaged in. But we also knew that we wanted to do it more fun and silly versus serious and newsy. And that's not to say that the serious, newsy climate coverage isn't good. Our show wouldn't be able to have been done without it. But we also know that our audience isn't responding that great to really depressing news effect. We have actually seen a decline in people watching the news, especially young people, because they get depressed. It's like the world is ending. What should we do? So we wanted to do our own spin on it, and also in addition to that, Adnan here is not the most climate conscious guy you'll ever meet. He is actually pretty average, and so not to greenwash, and Adnan had to be like a green guard, which he's not. He likes to travel. He eats meat. He likes nice clothes and new clothes. So we needed to make sure that it was believable that he took on this challenge. One thing Adnan hates is being lied to or being cheated. And that is the feeling you get when you experience greenwashing. So we took that feeling and was like, okay, how can we say something about greenwashing, but that's still believable and authentic to Adnan and also relatable? Because a lot of young people in Denmark, yes, they care about climate, but they also get boots from Zalando and they also drive cars and stuff like that. So we needed to find a place where it would be believable for us to make as well. And I think in many ways that is the series' biggest strength, because it is relatable and you don't have to care a lot about climate. It's good, but you just have to hate being cheated or lied to, and I guess we all hate that. So that was the core of the show, if that makes sense. Yeah. Then I would like to talk a little about like the cases and the experts we use. We did 5 episodes with 5 different cases, and it was important to us to find some cases that were, again, relatable to the youth. So we did Zalando, which is like this huge fast fashion company, as you all know. We did transportation, cars, BMW and Mercedes. And then we did travel, Momondo, which is a travel site in Denmark. I think the biggest maybe platform. And then we did food. We did Danpo, which is a chicken concern who makes like chicken meat and eggs. And most of the cases had been covered in the news. So we were like researching, of course, and finding the cases and finding, okay, what's the critique? And it was like greenwashing cases. But 2 of them were not. Momondo and Danpo was actually something we just discovered of our own. And I guess you can all know this as well. When you see, like, when you are noticing greenwashing, you suddenly see it everywhere. So we were like almost going into every website. We were like, yeah, this could be a case. This could be a case. But of course, we are not climate journalists. We are TV makers. So we needed someone to make the critique and also help us unfold it, so we were sure what we were saying was right. Because of course you can't just go around saying greenwashing if you're not sure. So this is where Anja Philipsen comes into the picture. She is the CEO of Forbrugerrådet Tænk, which is a company in Denmark, organization that ensures that consumers can take a well-thought choice, and they test all products and stuff like that. So we brought the cases to them, and they came with the critique they felt like they could say in the show, and we built the script out of the critiques. I think about experts when we do satire shows like this. It's really important for us that they are different than what you would meet in the news. Often when you sit and watch the TV-avisen in Denmark, the news channel, the expert it's a pretty boring setup. They're like, this is the critique. And it's really important what they're saying, but we didn't want the critique and the most important thing about the show to be like the dull little segment. So we briefed Anja to say, hey, Anja, this is our vibe. You have to be young and hip, so annoying, but also say it in a way you would say to young people, and also make sure to tease Adnan, and you guys can have a little a relationship almost in the program. So we tried to brief her to be more fun, and I think it turned out very, very well. She was really good. Okay, so we had the critiques. What is the Forbrugerrådet Tænk and Anja willing to say? And then we actually built our scripts out of the critiques. So we really like to take what the companies are doing and doing them to them. So, for example, in the case of Zalando, which is this huge clothing company or clothing site, they had put on their site small green banners where it said sustainable, and made up their own, I guess you could say, own requirements for when it's like sustainable. which is silly because they can decide it then. In addition to that, they were the main sponsor of Copenhagen Fashion Week and gave out a great sustainable award. And we were like, okay, that's great satire for us. So we made a award for them. I have it here. It says Zalando, the real winner of the Sustainability Award. And then we ran around the whole Copenhagen Fashion Week to try and find Zalando and give them this award. And sadly, you can see we still have it because they didn't want to participate. But that's a way to showcase our viewers what are they doing wrong, these companies, and how can we show it's bad and take it on our own. Does it make sense? Yes? Nice. Okay. Moving on. Impact. So, yeah, pretty disgusting. He is brave. What was the impact then on this series? Well, first of all, both Zalando, Danpo, and Momondo actually removed their claims after the series came out on their website. They probably wouldn't say it's our achievement, but I would say this because we put a spotlight on it. We also there was a lot of articles. Some people reviewed the show, very nice. Adnan were in a ton of radio programs where he was telling this feeling of being lied to and tried to keep the narrative also in the press. And then we had, because we are so fortunate at DR that we have a whole department just talking to the youth and showing them our stuff and saying, what do you think? And we had a group of, let me see here, young people from 18 to 26. And this is not something I'm just making up. They all loved it and they thought it was really funny, which is of course the most important thing when you're saying you have to do a funny show. It has to be funny. But they also understood and took the greenwashing aspect to them and were like, oh yeah, that reminds me, I saw this and this in my local supermarkets. That was really nice, of course. So yeah, that was a bit speedy, but oh, sorry. This is a little teaser. Questions?
Hi. This is not so much a question as sharing a similar success story. I think this is really cool what you're doing. And we'd like to do something similar in Belgium. I do some stand-up comedy about the climate in just random open mics. And then a few months ago, I worked with the MC of the comedy show to hold a climate comedy open mic. And we thought nobody would show up because who wants to talk about the climate in a bar at nighttime after work? But actually the bar was packed. Not everyone could get in. And it was, in your case, I think you're reaching far more people. In our case, it was also about building solidarity with people that really just needed a space to chill and be able to laugh about the absurdity of the work that we're doing. So I don't know if you've experienced a similar effect and if you found that it's also easier to communicate with a wider audience this way without them feeling personally attacked. Because when I do it at normal open mics, I just get men coming to explain to me how naive I am afterwards. But when it was a whole open mic, we didn't get that experience. Oh, so I don't know how you found that.
That's very cool, very niche climate change comedy. I mean, first of all, it's great. Denmark is so small, so a lot of young people know Adnan, so that's nice because immediately you're like, oh, this profile is funny. I buy into the funniness, but he's also really sharp. He is a great journalist. And I found that when you use, for example, people like Anya, and you establish that they know their stuff and they are the experts, but still put them in a funny tone, people will believe it. So what I've experienced is nice to try to experiment with the expert, both the sources and the people who know so much. We just heard about science. I think it's a great way to try to mix it up because, yeah, when you have like the credibility that I think Anya really has, then you can get away with far more. That's my experience. Was that an answer? Or yeah, I see the time is up, but thank you so much for listening.